happened last December. I was going thrifting with some of my friends, and the shop owner came up to us and she was talking to us. Her name's Tina, shout out Tina. But she was talking about how like life is so beautiful and we should enjoy everything and sadness isn't real. And then she said that we should be models and that we should love ourselves. I think it was just a sales pitch that we would spend money in her thrift store, but it worked. I think about her like once a week. She actually made such an impact on my life.
It was like a little bit before COVID hit. This was like, I think it was like November. And I used to walk like a while to my bus stop and I used to play the euphonium and the case was like this big. I had like a bruise on my leg from like it kept smacking on my leg. It was this horrible case. And there was this old Asian lady that I used to wave at every single day. I used to walk to the bus stop every day. And then when COVID hit, I didn't see her. And then I actually found out she had passed away a little bit. Well, this was in 8th grade. I found out she passed out a few months ago.
But you waved her every day for 2 years.
Yeah, I waved her. And yeah.
Okay, so a stranger that I remember, one time I was at a gas station and I was filling up gas, about to go back to university. This lady came up to me and she said, "Look out, watch out." And I looked at her, I was like, wait, what's wrong? They're following us. They're following all of us. And I said, "Oh, okay, they are?" She's like, "Yeah, they're after me in particular. You see over there? They're everywhere." And then she just walked away. And then I ran away, the end.
So, a stranger that I still remember, when I was in Philadelphia with my dad, we were walking around the city, and my dad decided to help a homeless person, and they basically changed my whole perspective, like, on people in the world. Basically, I'm starting to, like, grasp, like, the entire situation that people are in, you know, when they don't have a job, when they've been like affected by stuff that's, you know, somewhat out of their control and they can't really do anything about it. And that person really stuck with me because, you know, my dad is a Christian, I'm a Christian as well, and he tells me to like pray for people, so I'm still praying for him every now and then. I hope he gets out of his homeless situation. I hope what my dad did that day could have helped him for at least that week or however long, set him on the path for success.
Straight from the island of Tahiti.
One time I was
there are 4 main styles of Tahitian dance. Dance was used to challenge an enemy, worship a god, and even for prayer. Each dance was unique, but all of them were important to the Tahitian people and culture. Dancing evolved and became a part of ceremonies throughout the French Polynesian islands for thousands of years. Let's give a big Harrisburg welcome to the dancers.
I met a homeless man outside of a Tar Heel store in Chapel Hill. I dropped a penny on the ground because I had like 80 pennies in my pocket. I was just shaking them around like a real jackass, right? I dropped one and he gave it back to me. I felt so bad. I should have given it to him.
So I'm Lily Bonomo, I'm Brazilian, and the strangest person I've ever met in my life was a guy who really saved my life. I was going down a river, rafting, and the river just, something happened there, and I was in the middle of the water, and I could not get up, and this guy, he pulled my hair, and he saved my life, but I can't see, I can remember his face. Isn't that amazing?
There's one dude at Governor School. Don't know what his name was. I think it was like Joey or something. But I'm pretty sure he cheated on his girl at Governor School. And like after that, everyone just started cheating on their significant other. And people were breaking up left and right for their gov loves. So yeah.
Okay, one time I was at a Publix grocery store in Florida. And I was getting Publix subs for like a bunch of people. And I was visiting a friend and I had spent a lot of time like trying to look cute. And the guy behind the counter said, "Oh, are you in town for the hair show?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, no." But I felt so good because I had my hair down and it looked really cute. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, for the hair show? No, I'm not in town, I'm just visiting my friend." And then I got my thing. I was feeling really good about myself and really good about my hair. And then I was sitting at dinner that night and they were talking about like traffic was really bad in this one place And they were like, oh yeah, well that's because of the airplanes, whatever. They're like, did you see any? They were like, did you see any of the airplanes today or whatever? And it was because there was actually an air show. Not a hair show. So now whenever the air show's in town, we always bring up the hair show. So that stranger asking me if I was in town for the hair show was really asking me about the hair show.
Okay, so I went out for dinner, and it was with some friends who lived in our basement, and both of us were pregnant, really pregnant, with our husbands, and we sat down in Pizza Hut, and we had a nice meal, and then we went to pay, and they said the next table was already taken care of it, and they'd already left, so I never met them, but I just thought that was the sweetest thing, that they probably just saw two young people about to have their babies to pay for dinner, and that was really sweet.
So basically, when I went on a cruise last summer, I was in the pool with my cousin and her boyfriend, and we saw this guy in line for the water slide, and we were like, oh, that looks like my brother. His name is Nicholas, and we were like, oh, that looks like Nicholas. And then this lady in the pool, she turns around, she's like, did I hear you say Nicholas? Like, that's my son's name. And then we were like, wait, no way, his name is literally Nicholas. And then later, we were like, wow, that's crazy. And then later we were talking about how we saw this lady who looks like our grandma, who we call Nani. And so we were like, oh, she looks like Nani. And then the lady turned around and she was like, did you say Nani? Are you guys Italian? And then we were like, yeah. She was like, me too. And then we just started talking about our Italian families. So that was interesting.
So I went on this Italy trip with my family in sophomore year. And so I'm super into Call Me By Your Name, so I was on the lookout for an Italian name. And I was like, I don't know, I just wanted to find like a fruity guy, you know? I wanted to be like, wow, they're real. Gay Italian men are real. I was trying to live my, my Call Me By Your Name moment. So I was on the subway with my parents, and I was sitting there on the bus. And this lone person walks in, and he like grabs onto the railing. He looked just like Elio Perlman. He had green eyes and curly brown hair. He was Italian. I was like, oh my god, he's literally real. And I remember him to this day. Yeah, that's it.
So I was walking out, so I was looking at the classroom, and it was like second period. I saw this girl, right? She was fine, man. She was like, she like brown skin, pretty eyes, like, and she had this little braid on her back. Yeah, that's, I ain't talked to her. I'm gonna talk to her one day, but like, yeah, that's one stranger I remember.
So actually, the stranger that I really remember is on my college campus at UNCC for my undergrad. There was a dude that I have no idea what classes he had. I had no idea what major he was. But every semester, like every semester that I was there pretty much, we would cross at one point during the day. Just at some point, I would be going from one building to another, he would be going through another. So where we met in our cross was different every time, but we saw each other almost every day. And we would be like, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? I have no idea what his name was. I know he had no idea what my name was. We never officially met, but we knew each other. I could probably pick him out of a lineup. No clue. No clue what his name was, but total stranger that I became really familiar with in the basest, shallowest of ways.
When I went to Spain last summer, and I went to like get something at like this weird souvenir shop, I was like, oh, how much does this cost? And the guy was like, oh, $8.50. And I was like, no thanks. And he goes, I'll make it $6, just $6. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, where are you from? And I went, oh, the US. And he goes, oh, you're American. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, so you're rich. And I don't know why, but it just stuck with me for such a long time. Because it's like, why did he think I was rich? And I was like, you have the wrong girl. Okay, that's it.
So I went to a baseball game with my dad in Charleston, and our hotel was further from the stadium, but we walked there, and it went through like the town. And at this fountain, there was a naked man in underwear dancing around with us holding an open suitcase.
What?
Yeah.
So I used to work at a Appalachian theater summer. They called it the Summer Festival, and we did a bunch of arts. And there was this little old lady who called me on the phone, and her name was Frances McGill, and she was the cutest little thing. And she asked me like dinner reservations and like where to eat and where to stay. And she had this little nasally nose. And she came to this show that we had outside at an amphitheater. This was during COVID, so there was little pods. And she had to leave early. So she sat at the very, very back pod and would just sit there and kind of clap her hands but like she was like, I want to sit in the back. So she didn't sit at the back of like, because we didn't have it wasn't a sellout. So she didn't sit like at the back of the crowd. She just sat at the very back. So she was like miles away from anyone, and she was just sitting there having a great time. She was just the cutest old lady. So that's that. Yeah, Frances McGill, very cute.
I went to Vienna on a school trip, and there was this little market. The guy I got this necklace from, he was a blacksmith, and he was telling us all the things that the little symbols represented, and he said that mine like represented the sun and confidence and reassurance and getting your life together basically. And I don't know, I was really quiet around him, and he told me to speak louder and be confident, and I don't know, I remember him, and now I listen to him.
Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that like button, follow us at Raccoon Talk on Instagram. I'll see you later, bye.